What's going on, guys? Danny from Slow Restoration, and today we are actually going to drive the Yukon XL Quadrasteer. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for a POV of it, and you've been asking about where it's been. Well, it's been here. Like I said, it's a family vehicle. Sometimes it is the tow vehicle. It is a 3/4 ton. So it's a 2005 2500 Yukon XL Quadrasteer. It does have rear wheel steering, as that implies. See the mechanism there. It's actually in really good shape. It's a little dirty now. We try to keep it as nice as we can. We do have our co-pilot already in there. Scout, he's ready to ride. So let's get on the road. We got some errands to run today and to pick up some supplies. So perfect opportunity to get the Yukon out, talk about it a little bit, and just do a POV drive. Today we're actually going to try something different. I don't normally wear hats, but we do have this GoPro attachment clip on to a hat, and we're going to give it a shot. I did try the headband that GoPro has. I wasn't real happy with the way that turned out, so let's give this a shot. All right, so that does hang that down kind of right in my line of sight, so I think we should be a little better with this one. Let's go ahead and jump inside here. We did put an aftermarket stereo. That's pretty much the only modification we did in this. It does have 158,000 miles on it. These things go a long time. Does have the 6-liter LQ4 motor, and it also has the 4L80 trans. One thing I did forget to mention on this, it is a 2-wheel drive truck also, so it's pretty rare. It does have the leather seats. It's a little dark in here now. Let's get some lights. It does have leather, the bows, all that kind of stuff. And again, here is the 4-wheel steer switch. So there's a trailering mode which limits the how far the back can turn, and we can also put it in 2-wheel steer also, so it drives just like a normal vehicle. I always leave it in 4-wheel steer. Really, this thing is amazing when it comes to towing a trailer and backing up. Even going forward, it really helps towing a trailer, but it also really helps backing up a trailer. You can really get this thing in some tight spots. We're all ready to go here. Like I said, the trailering option of that 4-wheel steer is amazing, but you can, the worst part about the 4-wheel steer that I have found is when you're actually trying to parallel park. So when you bring the front end around, because of the rear steer, it actually brings the back end back around, and it's just annoying. So that's one time where you could actually put it back in 2-wheel drive. But let's go on the road here. Yukon does stay in the garage. It is garaged. That's its bay. It's always in there unless I just absolutely have to put something else in there. So that's its home. We're underway here, and as you can see, it drives very nice. You can take your hand off the wheels, it goes nice and straight. There are no issues. I know a lot of people think the 4-wheel steer they quit making them because they were dangerous. There's no truth in that. They quit making them actually because there wasn't really a market. GM a lot of times does not market things very well, especially back in 2005 when this was new. This was one of the last years. It may have carried over to 06. I'm not real sure. The issue was they weren't marketed enough. They didn't have enough sales for not enough people took the 4-wheel steer option on these vehicles, so they just discontinued it because there wasn't a demand. Now the people that actually have them know about them, like me, and drive them. They are amazing vehicles, and I really wish you could buy a brand new version of this, because most likely I would, and a lot of other people would. When I was researching this one and just seeing values and stuff like that, seeing what else is out there, I learned a couple things. One is this one is extremely rare. You do see some pickups, even a lot of Denali pickups, which is a half ton.
Turn right onto Pennsylvania 272 South.
We got our GPS going there. A lot of Denali's, which is a half-ton truck, but you also do see some 2500 pickups. Very, very rare do you see a Suburban or Yukon. More Suburban than Yukon, but in this trim level, being a Yukon XL loaded up with leather and all that kind of thing, being a 2500 and being a two-wheel drive, is the build numbers are got to be extremely low. I've not seen another two-wheel drive Yukon XL 2500 out there, and there's very few Quadrasteers at all out there. So either way, it drives very nice. And the second thing I learned was people that have them don't like to get rid of them, and when they do, they ask a very good price for them. As you can see, going around corners, you can tell the rear steer. It feels like a much smaller vehicle, but it's not unpleasant to drive. It's very good feeling. It's very firm on the road. It actually corners better than a non-Quadrasteer vehicle. Part of that, you know, the rear wheels steer, but they also move the rear wheels out. So once we get back home, I'll show you, do a walk around and show you. They actually had to put wider fender flares on the back of this with marker lights because it got so wide, and that's in part, well, that's because of the rear steer knuckles set the rear wheels out further than a normal Yukon. So normally on a GM vehicle, the rear wheels track further in than the front. This, I believe they're actually further out than the front. But either way, yeah, getting back to the research, the people that do have these don't like to sell them, and they say everyone that really likes these, and they say the same thing. If GM made another version of it, they would buy it. Now I did see that the Hummer EV, the electric GMC Hummer, is also going to have four-wheel steer. That's a completely different vehicle. It's not gas at all. It's all electric. Very awesome vehicle, and I'm glad they're actually putting four-wheel steer on that. But as far as an SUV like this, you can't buy it, unfortunately, anymore. We'll just drive here for a little bit. There's a kind of a twisty road through here, and we'll just show you. You know, it drives very, very nice, very pleasant, smooth ride, even for a 2500. I mean, you can tell it's a 2500 over a half-ton, especially coming out of the Escalade. Escalade's very smooth riding, but it is a Cadillac half-ton, so. Britton Hill Winery and Venue. So we're at a stop sign here, and as we pull out, that's when you really can tell. A bigger vehicle, you kind of have to make a wider turn and come back through. That wasn't a sharp turn, but the sharper the turn, obviously the more that shows up. The rear steer pulls you right around, and it's honestly, the turning radius is very close to a Jeep, even though this thing is an XL. It's got tons of room in the back. It's a long vehicle, but it turns extremely sharp. Maneuverability is way better with the Quadrasteer. So one option this thing did not have, as you can see there, it did not have a sunroof. I'm not sure why. I could take it or leave it. It is nice, especially I can open that up and it lets a lot more light in. But sunroofs come with their own issues, so I'm not upset it doesn't have one. Like I said, I could take it either way. But I really think it's the only option it did not have. No warning lights. Like I said, 158,000 miles. It's doing extremely well. Hopefully it stays. The only issue I know I do have to address is a lot of the 6 liters had the issue of popping the heads off the exhaust manifold bolts into the head. This does have that. I need to fix that, pull the manifold off, extract the broken bolts, and put new bolts in. But right now, once it warms up, the only time you realize it is when it's cold. You can hear the tick of the exhaust manifold leaking. Once it warms up just a little bit, completely goes away. So I forget about it a lot because I don't normally drive this vehicle. So we'll get to that. Other than that, I don't really think there's any mechanical issues that even need to be addressed. The previous owner took very good care of this. It's obvious that with the age and miles, there are no issues. So that's a good thing. I really think, I'm hoping the footage comes out decent. I was not very happy with the last POV drive I did with the band. Maybe I can try adjusting it differently, but this seems to actually be working very well. So there's a twisty section up here, and we'll show you going around the corner. I mean, it's not very exciting, but it does it extremely well. Like I said, it handles very, very well. Definitely better. The Escalade is the same size vehicle. The Escalade is the extended version also, so it's the same length. It's the half-ton version, no rear wheel steer, and this handles way better. 6.0 has good power. I mean, I wouldn't say it's definitely not fast. It's not a race truck, but it does what it needs to do and does it very well. Pulls the trailer well. You know, driving around town on the highway, whatever, no issues there at all. This is a heavy vehicle too. I forget the weight. I did weigh this at one time. I forget what it weighed, but it's not a lightweight. We do have our brake controller down here. Of course, we don't have anything hooked to it, so it's not going to read, but the aftermarket stereo we put in is a Pioneer. I think it's 4400. I'll get the model number and put it up on there on the screen, but it's got Android Auto, which is what I have, and I love that. I did put a port right here so we can plug in. You can do your Apple CarPlay through it. Of course, your phone goes through it. Anything you can do on your phone, you can do it hands-free now. So that's a big improvement in my opinion. And if you're gonna do this stereo, make sure you get the right connection, the right wiring.
Right after Wells Fargo Bank, on the right onto Pennsylvania 372 East, West State Street.
It makes everything still work. So if we want to turn the volume up, we can use our controls here. Everything still works as it should. All the chimes still work. Everything works just like the factory stereo. We just have an upgrade. I guess the only other thing I can really think of mentioning on this is it is 100% stock. Like I said, the only modification is that stereo. Stock exhaust all the way back, stock air intake system, no tune at all. So it just does what it does and does it well. I would like to put exhaust on it, but it is technically my wife's daily driver. I personally do like the leather seats because, especially with Scout, it's an easier cleanup. You just wipe them off instead of like really vacuuming and scrubbing on cloth seats. They are heated. It does have the power pedals too. Like I said, this thing was very, very loaded for for the year. So yeah. Here, picking up some stuff. Let's show you what the Quadrasteer can do. Well, full walk here. It's just amazing how this thing turns around. I mean, the turning radius looks like, I don't know what it actually is. It looks like it's like 10 feet. So sometimes you actually turn too sharp and you gotta correct it. But we'll back in here. That's the other thing. Upgrade the stereo has. We did get a rear camera, which is very nice also. We're back home. We're gonna pull the Yukon back in the garage, put it back in its home, and we'll catch up with you as soon as I get this parked, and we'll do a walk around outside. All right, hopefully I didn't miss anything too important on there. Fuel mileage, I know that's gonna be a question. Being a 2500 6-liter 4L80 and the 14 bolt, it doesn't get excuse me, great fuel mileage, but it's not absolutely horrible either. Like I said, it's big. If we scan back this thing, it is the XL, so there's tons of room in that. You probably can't, yeah, you can see inside. So the back seat stops here and you have all that extra cargo room. It's nice. So the fuel mileage, I'm gonna say mixed driving. I did reset it up there, and on the way back, let's see what it got here real quick. We'll turn the key on, power up, and hit that one. So it got 14.8 miles to a gallon average on the way back. Not terrible, not great, but it is a 2500. It can pull the trailer. It can do whatever you need it to do except get amazing fuel mileage, but that's, like I said, really not bad. So quick walk around. Here is the extra wide flare. The standard flare would not be that wide, and that is to cover the extra width of the Quadrasteer. They do also put marker lights, so the amber in the front, red in the back, kind of like the Ford Raptor, because it's so wide. With that, well, since we're back here, you get the marker lights in there. And when I got this, I was confused of why it had 2 brake lights. It actually isn't. Let me turn the lights on here quick. With the lights on, you can see that it is actually a marker light. And that's part of the Quadrasteer 2500 package. So 3rd brake light, and then a marker light on top of that. Marker lights in the side, and then clearance lights up top. We do, I see, have a bulb out, so we'll have to fix that. I did plan on doing the tinted. I'm not crazy about the cab marker lights, but it is what it is. They're there. I do want to get the kind of blacked out smoked lenses. So either smoked or blacked out, either one, I think would look a little bit better than that. But other than that, like I said, it is 100% stock. Exhaust is stock. It does have a nice sound to it. This truck has a nice look to it, I think. It could be updated some, but my wife likes it the way it is, so it's working good. I think we're gonna leave it. So if I forgot anything, I don't think I did, but there's some older videos on this when I first got it up on the lift, so you can see the whole back workings for the Quadrasteer. Check those videos out. I'll try and put a thing on the screen so you can go back and look at them. Actually, there's a playlist, so I'll put the playlist up there. It does have the PYO wheels. Like I said, it's a nice looking, nice performing truck. I like it. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.